Hi everyone, Amber here from Majestic. Welcome back to my channel. Today is month 8 of our Cotton Cuts Tree of Life Puzzle Mystery Quilt. I am sewing up the large Moonlit colorway. Cannot believe we're already on month 8. So this month we have 8 sections, or one section 8 times. So this block is super fun. I love how it uses a variety of fabrics. So if you enjoy, please let me know in the comments. Also, if you found it helpful, I'd love if you give me a thumbs up or subscribe to my channel. It does help me grow and I appreciate it so much. So I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. All right, so I have my instructions for the large size of month 8. We're making the same block 8 times. So for the video, I'm only going to do it once. Here's all the pieces laid out. So as usual, I have them laid out in the same order next to me with the pressing mat and iron. I am sewing on a Singer 5528 using a universal 70-10 needle and Aurifil thread. I also have my color card next to me so I can check fabrics. Moonlit has been tricky for me because block A is light colored on the clue but dark in light in the actual fabric. So I have definitely flipped that around a couple different times. So let's get started. All right, so let's begin with step 1. We need a large D triangle. Fabric D for the Moonlit is this white, or one of the white fabrics, and 2 small A, which is the darker. And we are making 8 of these because we're making 8 blocks. So I'm just going to do 1 for the tutorial. I start on the right hand side and just line them up. They match up so perfectly. You can clip them together. I just have started holding on to my fabrics if they're not too long. I also started backstitching at the beginning and end of my piecing, which I haven't been doing because they'll get sewed into each other and another seam will connect it. But I saw a long armor that really recommended it, so your seams are less likely to pop open. Okay, so I'm pressing the back side. We are pressing our seams to the top right, gently folding that open and pressing from the front. I really love this colorway. This is my first neutral. I was so glad that I was chosen to be an ambassador for it because I just think it's so beautiful with the different blues and grays. Okay, now we're going to repeat the same for the left hand side. And especially when I'm starting on a point, I find that I have to hand crank my needle in. Sometimes it wants to suck my fabric down, even though I'm using a small needle. All right, and then for this one, we will be pressing to the top left. Okay, and I'm going to set that aside a moment. So now we have step 2. We're making another flying geese. We need a large fabric E, which is this one that almost looks like a flower to me. I really love that print. And 2 small D triangles. Again, our D fabric is this pretty white one that has just like a faint hint of gray and blue. Okay, so we'll be sewing on the same exact way. For steps 1 through 3, you're making flying geese, so you could actually even lay all 3 out at once and chain stitch them. Just so I don't get confused, and for the tutorial, I am doing it this way. If I was sewing all 8 blocks at once, I would definitely sew all 8 at a time before cutting my threads, chain stitch them to make it go quicker. And again, this one is going to be pressed to the top right. And we have our other to the top left. I really love that everything is cut for me, and that with these Puzzle Mystery Quilts that I could just literally take it out of the bag and I'm ready to sew. I don't have to do any prep for it. And that's nice, especially coming home after a day of teaching or work or whatnot. So it's just so convenient. To me, you get right to the fun part. Okay, and we're pressing this one to the top left. Okay, and I'm going to move this one to the side as well. Now for step 3, we need a large C triangle. So this one here that almost looks like sea glass, and 2 smaller B triangles. And this is the pretty one. It looks like it has flowers on it as well. Okay, we're sewing it the same way, starting with the top right. I can't believe we're already on month 8. 2 more months and we'll be putting this all together. And this is my first time sewing up a large size, so I'm excited to see how that process goes of putting it all together. Okay, and so now we are pressing to our top right. And then attaching to our top left. It started to want to eat the fabric on this one. You can see right here. Usually if it's not too bad, I just honestly press it out and it gets caught up in the seam allowance. If it eats it too much, I will pull the stitches out and re-stitch it. But for here, it's just a tiny bit, and you can see when I open it, you can't even tell. So I don't bother picking that apart and redoing it. All right, so that is our step 3. All right, so now we're on step 4. It says rotate step 3. So this was step 3. So the C triangle is pointing down. Okay, so our center is pointing down. And then we're going to join step 2 to the top of step 3. Step 2 is this one here that had our E fabric. So you should get that nice diamond shape in the center, and there's no center seams here, so I'm just going to put them right sides together and make sure that I am lining up the edge. And because it is a longer piece of fabric, I am going to clip it together before I sew. Okay, and for this one, we are pressing our seams upwards. So we're pressing it towards that E triangle. Okay, I'm going to gently open that here. All right, and step 4 does have another part. Now we need to take our step 1 and attach it to the top of step 2. And you'll know you've done that correctly because your D fabrics here line up to make this arrow, the chevron. So I'm just repeating it by putting them right sides together and lining up that edge. And then clipping. And then this one, we are also pressing our seams up towards the top. Again, gently pressing that open. And when my pieces start to get bigger, I like to give some of my other seams a press just to help hold those seams down. And I'm going to move it to the side for one more minute because we have another thing to do for step 5. So step 5, we are putting 3 squares together. So we need a fabric A square on top, a fabric D in the center, and a fabric B at the bottom. And you'll also be making 8 of these. Okay, and so I'm going to start at the top. You can start at the top or the bottom. So I'm just going to work my way down. And for this one, our seams are going to be pressed down towards our center block, so towards that D block. And now we are attaching our bottom, our B. So I am putting that one right sides together. And this one is also being pressed our seams towards the bottom. So I'm going to press that back side first and then gently open. All right, so now we need to join these together. We are joining this, the 3 squares to the left of our block here. And you'll know that you have done it correctly because your A matches, your D fabric matches, and your B fabric matches. So there are seams to line up. So I'm going to put them right sides together, and I'm just going to turn it so it's facing me so I can see those seams better. And they should nest if you have followed the instructions. The seams should be facing away from each other and fit together very nicely. So I am just matching those up first and clipping them first. And then I line up the rest of my block. And I'm trying to be very mindful when I get to those seams that my presser foot is not flipping them in the opposite direction. Okay, and our seams are being pressed towards the left-hand side, towards the side that has our 3 squares. Okay, so I just press the back side and then gently opening it. Sometimes the longer the seam gets, it wants to like flip on me. So I just try to feel or look on the back side if I need to make sure that it is actually staying in the correct direction. All right, so this finishes up our month 8 of the large size. This is the Moonlit, and you should have 8 of these. All right, so we have just finished up month 8. You should have 8 of these sections when you're done. So I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Thank you to Cotton Cuts for allowing me to be an ambassador and showcase the Puzzle Mystery Quilt on my social media. If you enjoyed, please give me a thumbs up or subscribe to my channel. It helps my channel grow, and I appreciate it so much. See you next month. Bye.